What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? Listen, I am so glad that you guys are back with me for another episode of Rap-Ology, where we go into depth about albums, music from independent artists, because I enjoy putting a spotlight on these artists who you may not even know of, may not even heard of, but you will after this video. Guys, listen, I need you to do one quick thing. I want to say that if you are watching this podcast, then that must mean you are tapped into the Maturity Productions Network. That is available on all podcast streaming platforms. That is the Apple Podcasts, your Spotify, your Deezer, your iHeart, all those podcast streaming platforms. We are there, and I appreciate you guys for checking us out there. But also, you watching this video right now, then that means you are definitely watching this on the YouTube channel, the Maturity Productions YouTube channel, where you have to like, subscribe, and notify yourself so you don't miss an episode of Rap-Ology. You don't miss an episode of the Not Very Mature podcast. You don't miss an episode of Hit Your Finisher. You don't miss no episodes. You don't miss nothing else that comes with this channel as well on YouTube, where we got movies like House of Tea, shows like Die For This, music videos, all type of other stuff. So listen, definitely check it out, guys, and I appreciate you for tapping in with us. Also, I want to take a moment to go ahead and thank you all for becoming supporters of the podcast. That's right. There's a link. You click on it and you become a supporter of the podcast for as low as $3 a month. I mean, maybe you could pay $5. You could pay $8. You could pay $10. But for as low as $3, you can support this podcast and all the various podcasts that is on this platform. And I appreciate you guys for that. Now, let's get into Rap-Ology, guys. We are going to be talking today about a project called White Tiger. White Tiger, brought to you by Ira Dos or Ira Das. And so, listen, I gotta be honest. This was a very short, to the point project. Very short and to the point. What they say, short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? Not sweet and salty, but short and sweet. And I got to start off by talking about the album cover, and essentially the name as well, right? So White Tiger, I thought it was an interesting name. I didn't know what to expect. When you hear something like a White Tiger, right? You know, a project called White Tiger, you start to start wondering and thinking, like, what could possibly this mean? Is there some kind of meaning behind it? Is there some kind of, am I going to be drawing something from the music that's going to tie into the name White Tiger? And so far, I don't find nothing. I didn't find nothing. But I will say this, though. I will say that the cover art, oh my God, like, look at it. Like, come on. It is super dope. I think what I like most about the cover is that it gives you that I'm trying to think of the show that, not Gumby, but sort of Gumby, but not Gumby. There was a show that man, I can't remember what it was. It was a guy and he had the dog, and it was like clay animation. It used to come on PBS a lot when I was a kid. I used to see it a lot on PBS. But I love this cover art. Love the cover art. It's so imaginative, so just so creative. Shout out to whoever did the cover art. It definitely like lured me into the project. Like, as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, this is dope. That yawn was just not, it was gonna fight me. Okay. So one of the things that I definitely enjoyed about the cover art, oh no, just cover, oh, and then on top of the cover art being like as creative as it was, there's so much. I mean, you got the I'm assuming this is Ira, him as the artist riding the white tiger. You got the landscape in the background. I mean, it's just like there's so it really makes you pay attention to all the details, right? All the detail of the art and animation in this cover art. Super creative, super dope. I thought it was unique. It's original. And I definitely enjoyed it. So now let's get into the meat of this project. This project had 4 songs in total. Like I told you, short and sweet, straight to the point, in and out like a fast food restaurant. All right. So listen, I definitely was like, as soon as I put it on, it was over. It was over. It was straight to the point. But it starts off with a song called Handle. Track number 1 is Handle. And Handle by far is um one of the most songs that I like. For anyone who knows me and my music, for the most part, my catalog, I'm a very vibey artist. I love vibes. I love music that has vibiness to it, right? And so Handle came in right off of that. I mean, it just comes on, boom, and instantly I was like, okay, I like this one. I like this one. Where we going with it? What we doing with it? Um, and so super dope track. This is a Christian hip hop album. Ira is a Christian hip hop artist, and so I knew, exactly what I was going to get from this project, but how it was going to be delivered, right, is always the interesting key, because for Christian hip hop artists, it's easy to be put in a box. It's easy to kind of shackle yourself, I guess, sometimes to a certain sound or certain makeup. But I definitely enjoyed this first track. Handle was just so vibey, gave me a lot of Uzi Vert vibes. Just super melodic, and again, very great bars. The hook was very catchable. I was able to catch on to the hook and understand, what I'm saying, the meat of the song because of the hook. Definitely out of the 4 songs, top 1 or 2 for me. Top 1 or 2 for me. Actually, I'd probably say probably my top favorite song on this one. Coming into the project, top song, loved it. And I think that hearing it and then seeing the cover art kind of started to put 2 and 2 together. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the cover art has this kind of um clay animation, futuristic but imaginative imaginative. Sorry, I don't know where I just came up with that word. um, Imaginative look to it, and so this first track kind of plays into that look and that image, and so I definitely was into to track number 1, um, Handle, and how he delivered, the bars, but really it was a vibe. Like, I got lost in the vibe of this song. um did he spit on it? Yeah, definitely. There was definitely bars to be noticed there. But really what makes this song so strong is the music selection is fire, and then just the not doing too much but just doing enough simplistic approach to the song really helped carry it. So I enjoyed that number 1, track 1, Handle. What's up? Hold on. So number 2, Rolling Holy, one of the more, I would call it more of a banger type of track, more of a rap style type of track. Um, and this was after coming out of the Vibe, it was there was a whole thing about this project that I kind of would have had done differently, and I think it's I would have reversed the order of the track list, right? So tracks 1, 2, and 3, 4, I would have reversed as 4, 3, 2, 1, because of just the something that happens later on in the project that I kind of thought about. But Rolling Holy is track number 2 was a more rap style song, brought a lot more of the cadence and the delivery and the um just more so rap style traditional hip hop to the project, where you kind of came in with this vibey melodic mood setting kind of track. Then you get into more of just your classic rap, your classic hip hop, your classic, you know what I'm saying, line for line. You're trying to, you know what I'm saying, really establish that there's a rapper in the room. You get what I'm saying? So Ira definitely did that. Ira definitely came in with Rollin' Holy and did that. Um, I think the strength of the song are the verses, where I think it was a little bit of flip flop on the other one, right? So I feel like on the first song on Handles, the hook was the strong part, and the verses were fine, but the hook really kind of carried most of that song with the music behind it as well. Whereas for this song, I just felt like the verses were strong, and sat well with the beat. Whereas I would have wanted just a tad bit more in the hook. You know what I'm saying? A tad bit more of a different hook, something that was um I it was kind of like almost not a repeat of the first one, but it was sort of just where the word handle got used a lot in the first song, and the rolling holy or holy rolling, you know what I'm saying, kind of got used the same way in this song. And so I would have wanted more of a different approach maybe in the hook. But as far as the verses were there, and the verses along with the beat, I thought was, you know what I'm saying, easily some of the best part. I just would have had a different approach maybe in the hook part of it, coming off of what I heard from the very first song. But that happens a lot, right? And there are times when I've done that before, where my verses were strong, but I just felt like in the moment I thought the hook was solid and I was comfortable with the hook, but post release I listened to it more and more, and I'm like, I really could have sat down and processed and wrote a better hook, or I really could have given a little bit more love to the hook, where it gave the same type of delivery or energy, or even just the same type of recognition, in a sense, you know what I'm saying, as the verses did. The verses I didn't think lacked, but I would have wanted more in the hook, creatively, because of what I was hearing in the verses and because of what the beat was giving me. So, but I definitely think that Rolling Holy it's again not in my top 2 because it's only 4 songs on the project. Not in my top 2, but I would probably say out of the 4, maybe the least favorite of my songs on this project. Not a bad song, but just the least favorite that I enjoy out of the entire project. Get Low, track number 3. This song was, again, it was a return to vibe, man. Like, when I talk about Handles was vibey, Get Low was vibey, this is where I was riding. Listen, this is where Ira had me sold on both of these tracks. Like, track number 1, track number 3 are my top 2 favorite tracks on this project. I thought again, when I look at the cover art of White Tiger, I think of the exotic name White Tiger. This clay animation, futuristic, imaginary cover art. These are the songs that I kind of feel like stand out and represent the cover art the most. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking at it and saying, okay, when I look at this cover art, I hear this cover art, the cover title. These are the kind of songs that I envision I would hear, and so hearing Get Low, hearing Handles, these were easily my two favorite tracks. I was just like, yep, this is it right here. Again, one of the things with Get Low is I probably would have wanted the same thing, and I think because of how Handles made me feel, I would have wanted to just see um, more love and effort put into hooks. I'm so big on hooks, and here's why I'm big on hooks. I'm big on hooks because hooks can sometimes be easily overlooked in the sense that we will write a hook, and I've seen it where we kind of artists will just repeat the same thing over and over, or they use a catchphrase word, right? Uh, I've been held back long, now I'm getting over. Cats wishing I was done, but I'm getting over. Like, right, that same repeating of a phrase, and in some cases it can work, and it can work very effectively, right? It can work very powerfully. But it also can easily be somewhat of a crutch when you don't when you struggle to find a creative, unique way to approach a hook. It can easily be a fallback thing to just say, well, I just do this, or I just say this, and it does not lend itself to giving the beat its maximum output, right? You know what I'm saying? And so um I just would have wanted, again, more from the hooks, where I thought the verses were fine. I think the music selection, especially for Handles and especially for Get Low, were just like right in the pocket of what I was expecting. Hook wise, I would have wanted, again, just a tad bit more of a different approach, or an extra, you know, an extra mile ran to see what more could we have done with the hook, or what more could we have said on this hook to really make it something where it just really like explodes on the track when you hear it. But again, not a bad track, not a bad track at all. Not really taken away from what I like, not taken away from the enjoyment or listening to it. It doesn't make it. The hook does not make me not want to listen to the song. The hook does not take away from the song. But at the same time, again, I was looking for more, or trying to, because the vibe was so there, I would have liked to have gotten lost in a hook that really drew me in and carried me through the song. But other than that, track one, track three, Handles, Get Low, two easily of my favorite songs that I thought was um, just delivering exactly what this type of album or this type of cover art speaks to you when you first look at it. And I thought it just went it just went perfectly the way it went. That's the other thing too with these two songs, with Handles, with Get Low. I wish there was, and this is the thing I was talking about earlier that we would get to. I wish there was more of a feature on these projects, because the two songs that are the most vibiest lend themselves to feeling like they could have had a feature on them. Um, the two rap songs, which would be track number two, and track number three, I mean track number four, those I felt like belong to Ira. Those I felt like you keep him there, and especially because track number four, but you keep him in that space and you allow him to work. Whereas I felt like with tracks number one and three, which are the most vibiest ones, the more melodic, more, you know what I'm saying, unique sounding tracks. Those would have, they felt like they've been great for a feature or so to kind of also be on there with him, and really kind of give a little bit of spice to the project, where you had the two vibiest songs with two features from, whoever, but they would have been great, I think, just to have that mix up. Especially because when you hear them, they just sound like somebody else is about to come on. They just feel like there's something, there's an extra voice that's going to be given or lended itself to the songs. And again, because there isn't, it doesn't take away from anything. But it just, every time I'm listening to them, I'm just saying, like, there's somebody that should be on this thing. Not saying your boy, all right, not saying your boy, but it did feel like there was just a feature, or it just felt like there was a version of this where there was somebody else on the track, that should have been or could have been, and I would have enjoyed to hear another voice, and another approach of a style too, on those beats, with a featured guest artist or something like that. Track number 4, which is uniquely Handles, but called Handles OG because it's a literal rap version of Handles, and which is track number 1. And so while track number 1 is more singing, more melodic, more auto-tune-ish, Handles OG, track number 4, is literally the exact same song, not the exact same beat, more of a rap beat, hip hop beat, but the exact same song for verbatim, as far as like words, hook, no difference, same song, same words, just a different beat, and more of a rapped version of it, not a melodic singing version of it. And that's why I was saying I think that Handles needed a feature, because it felt like Handles track number 1 was a remix to Handles track number 4. Or at least the rap version did not feel like it needed a feature more than, I think, I felt like track number 1 was more of the remix than track number 4 would be the remix. I feel like the rap version would be the original, and it's called OG because I'm sure it's the original version. But I felt like if that was the case, then Handles track number 1 should have had a feature on it to distinctly separate it, or at least had a different verse from Ira. I would have enjoyed a different verse. Now, granted, I like Handles for how it is, because it was the first song that I heard. But by the time I got to track number 4 and realized that they were the same song, same verse, same hook, then it kind of made me wish that the first Handles from track number 1 would have had a different verse, or at least a different approach, or again, a guest feature to offset feeling like, oh, this is just the same song. And sometimes I get artists do this because we as artists, we feel like, oh, it's two different versions of a song, same song but just two different versions of it. But what sometimes I feel like happens is it makes one of the songs obsolete, because then you end up picking your favorite song, right? So if I had to pick between Handles OG and Handles Vibey, I'm going to just pick Handles Vibey because I think that's the better version of the song. So now Handles OG no longer gets its proper due because I've already heard the song. You know what I'm saying? I've already heard the song, and it would be remiss for me to just listen to both when it's like, well, it's like having a double cheeseburger over here and another double cheeseburger over here, and then this burger tastes better than this burger, but they really the same burger. But it's like this one got bacon on it now, and this one don't got bacon, but they the same burger. just one has bacon. I'm always going to choose the one that has bacon. So, I just felt like that was key to that. You get what I'm saying? Was that I think a guest feature would have, or maybe even a different verse as a remix version of the original OG version of Handles. I would have at least felt like I could listen to both and not feel like I'm hearing the same song. And I get that technically because one is vibey, one is more hip hop, they don't come off as the same song. But when you are listening to it, it just feels like it's come back again, and you're like, you can easily be like, wait, this is the first song, ain't it? They just this same song, and so you end up choosing which one you like the most. And some people may choose the hip hop version over the vibey version. Some people may choose the vibey version over the hip hop version. But I feel like you end up choosing one. You don't ever end up choosing both. And so I would have just liked it to see that be a little different. And also I would have reversed the track list because I would have put the original version first and then maybe, get low, and then you get what I'm saying, the Rolling Holy song, and then did the vibey Handles last, and again put a feature verse or a new verse or a remix on both of those songs, like I said, on Get Low and on Handles, and then just reverse the track list. And that's how I would have played it. And I think it still would have had. I think it would have had a better approach listening to it, hearing the OG version first, then going to Get Low, something that's vibey, then coming back around to another hip hop track with Rolling Holy, and then remix version of Handles vibe version. I think would have just been a doper way, a doper approach. How I would have liked to listen to it, and when I did listen to it that way, I was like, that sounds a lot better. Even though the songs sound the same, just hearing them in a different position, I was like, okay, I rock with this. I rock with this. And so I definitely thought it was overall though original OG version of Handles, not a bad song. The beat actually is really nice. Again, spit it in a hip hop version, but already having heard it in the vibe version, I liked it the vibe version just a tad bit better, a little bit more better than that one. Now, overall, guys, White Tiger, Ira Doss. I thought this was a again short to the point, very in and out project. Give you 4 tracks. 2 of them I think stand out the most. I think the other 2 are fine. Again, one of them kind of lends itself to a bit of repetition, but I think that tracks 1 and 3, Handles, the vibe version, Get Low, also vibey, right up my alley. Thought it was dope. Can't take away nothing from just, what I'm saying, the writing style and delivery of Ira. But listen, I definitely thought White Tiger was enjoyable. I mean, if you want something that's quick, straight to the point, a lot of the tracks are under 2 minutes. I think maybe even some under just a little bit over 3. There was like 2 tracks that was over 3, 2 that were under 2 minutes. So not super long songs either. Very, very quick and to the point. Again, if it's worth the listen just for the vibe of Handles and the vibe from Get Low. Definitely worth the listen to check those songs out. Definitely a creative and unique, interesting cover art that I still like. I think it's still super dope. I just think it's super dope. One of the most interesting covers that I've seen this year of projects. So again, shout out to Ira for having such a dope cover art. With that being said, guys, listen, this is Rap-Ology. I am your host, Mature the Servant. I appreciate you guys for checking out Rap-Ology. This is something that, again, I am working through. We're going to have so much more coming. It's not just going to be this. We have artist interviews that are going to be coming as well. But the album reviews and the breakdowns, I want to give you guys a chance to check out these artists. So definitely check out White Tiger, man, by Ira Doss. Go check it out on all streaming platforms. Show him some love. And with that being said, guys, I appreciate you so much for being with me, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.